Right. So Joe Biden, as you all know, bombed Syria, right? He decided to cement himself as a warmonger within the first 30 days in office. I can't believe he let Israel wait that long. How rude. And of course, the squad is silent. Now, I can already hear the trolls in the comments, right? Going, how dare you? Remember that was Ray William Johnson's troll back in the day? Where's that guy, by the way? So Ilhan Omar, I know, she issued a statement. Yes, how brave of her to condemn the president for illegally bombing another country. I bet that took real guts. So I'll read it to you in a second. This is Joe Biden in 2019. Look what he says. Trump's erratic, impulsive actions are the last thing we need as commander-in-chief. No president should order a military strike without fully understanding the consequences. We don't need another war in the Middle East. But Trump's actions toward Iran only make that more likely. Wow. Wow, such strong words. I'm glad that Joe Biden is still living by those words. Yes? Really demonstrates consistency and principles, right? Here's his press secretary. I think I showed you this after he decided to bomb my country. So Jen Psaki, right? She's the White House spokesperson. She wrote this in 2017. She asked, what is the legal authority for strikes? Bashar al-Assad is a brutal dictator, but Syria is a sovereign country. Wow. How nice of you. How nice of you to recognize us as a sovereign country. Now, look, when she's spitting facts. Syria is a sovereign country. Stop bombing us. Okay. But where is that now when it matters, when she's actually the White House spokesperson? Where is it? I'm not seeing it. Now, more to the point, here is specifically when Donald Trump bombed Syria in 2018, right? In April 2018, this was with the United Kingdom, with France. You recall this was over the alleged chemical gas attack that did not take place in Duma. So this chemical gas attack, it took place when, I'm not even going to get into the whole thing. Go watch the other videos countless videos that I've done, but it was faked. And we know this because the team that was sent there by the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, the OPCW team leader, and another anonymous whistleblower themselves told us so. There was no chemical gas attack, and their reports were censored. But the United States and the UK and France didn't even wait for a report to come out. This was just a few days later. They just arbitrarily decide, yeah, a chemical gas attack took place. Let's go bomb Syria, right? The OPCW didn't even arrive yet. There was no team on the ground. And here's what Kamala Harris said at the time. I strongly support our men and women in uniform, and believe me, we must hold Assad accountable. How many times have you heard that? We must hold Assad accountable? Like a goddamn million times, right? It's just one of their boring phrases. It never gets old, right? Iraq has WMDs, weapons of mass destruction, weapons of mass destruction. We must hold Assad accountable for his unconscionable use of chemical weapons, which did not happen, by the way. But I am deeply concerned about the legal rationale of last night's strikes. Wow. You know, when a public prosecutor, a state prosecutor tells you that they are concerned with the legal rationale of something, you better be scared, right? Remember Kamala Harris once sent parents warning letters for truancy, and she jailed some of them. She's not fucking around. No, but seriously, where is this attitude now? She's the vice president. I mean, you know, what the fuck? You cannot ask for a better position. What are you doing exactly to question the legal rationale of something? You're the vice president now, and Biden just bombed Syria. Nothing. Silence. I saved the best for last. Here's our firebrand congresswoman. You remember the specific congresswoman from Queens, Bronx, who was sent to challenge Democrats specifically? What is she famous for? She unseated the number 3 Democrat, Crowley. Not for going after Republicans. That's the same old shtick. Any Democrat can do that. Anyone can do that. That's easy. But AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she was fired because she unseated a Democrat, right? She was holding protests outside Pelosi's office. Here's what she said. Here's the profound danger of what we just did in Syria. A mad king president with majority disapproval of Americans just decided to bomb a nation without the constitutional requirement of congressional approval. Democrats who take war money pass the laws allowing that. And we'll get to those laws in a second, won't we? So it's remarkable, right? It's remarkable how all of these people who are still in government, as a matter of fact, they've just gotten promotions to president, vice president, right? They've become solidified. They've solidified their role in history. All these people, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, even Joe Biden's White House spokesperson, AOC, all these people, they criticized Trump for bombing Syria. And now when Biden bombs Syria, silence. Silence. Not a little condemnation, just fucking silence. Nothing. They act like it didn't happen. Not a word. Not a fucking word. You know, among the list of things, if you made a list of things that would warrant a reaction, any reaction, I'm pretty sure that bombing another country is way up there, right? I'm pretty sure. No. Orange Cheeto Man does it, we'll criticize him, rightfully so. But when the head of Team Blue does it, no, we're not going to say anything. We're not even going to acknowledge it. Syria? What's Syria? You remember that? You remember Black Bush by Dave Chappelle? When he gets asked, like, what do you say to those people that say you're going to Iraq for oil? Oil? What? Bitch, you cook it? And he just runs away. What is this? Where is this now? I think it's a reasonable question to ask, you know, being a Syrian. Maybe you should be asking that question too, especially as an American. It's your money. These are your politicians. Aren't you worried about their hypocrisy? That's striking hypocrisy. I mean, it's unbelievable, right? It's fucking nuts. Like, you knew that they were going to give Biden a pass on everything. And here it is. Here it is. They're not even saying a word. Nothing. The only person who said anything, I think Ro Khanna issued something, right? Whether you consider him part of the squad or not, I don't know what the exact membership requirements are for the squad. But Ilhan Omar, okay, she's the only one who said something. Now you can look at this. I'm going to read it to you, and you can tell me if you consider this adequate. But I'm going to read it to you nonetheless. Okay, so she issued a statement about Biden dropping bombs on Syria, and here's what she said. She said, "I'm deeply concerned about the legal justification of the airstrikes in Syria. Military action in a country where Congress has not authorized war is unconstitutional in almost all circumstances." So once again, as usual, I will tell you that even if it were authorized by Congress, even if it were constitutional, your constitution doesn't mean shit in the other 190 plus countries on this planet. Just a reality check, okay? Your constitution maybe means something in your country, but there are other countries on this planet, a lot of them. So the appropriate deferment is to go to international law. And yes, they are also, and first and foremost, illegal under international law, right? So you can look at Article 2.4 of the United Nations Charter, which specifically outlines that you cannot just go around bombing people because you don't like them, okay? So Article 2, Section 4, all members shall refrain in their international relations from the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state or in any other manner inconsistent with the purposes of the United Nations. Of course, we know the United States and Britain and their allies don't really care about international law to begin with. But nonetheless, let's be consistent a little bit. Just let's try a little, right? So going back to Ilhan Omar's statement, right? So she says the administration must provide a legal rationale for why these strikes met the high bar for military action without congressional approval. Okay. And then she also goes on to talk about the AUMF, right? So I brought this up last time. I told you that this is what they use. This is their blank check, their carte blanche since the Bush administration. And you know, I'm pretty sure that what AOC was referring to here, when she says Democrats who take war money pass the laws allowing that, she's referring to the AUMF back in 2018, right? This is the AUMF over here, okay? So they passed this in 2001. There's another one in 2002 for Iraq. And, you know, it's basically saying that, the president has sweeping powers to just do whatever the hell he likes. Why? In the name of the war on terror, right? Do you understand now why that's such a risky thing and why people are rightfully concerned that when Democrats talk about passing domestic terror laws, they're worried about shit like this happening again, where you just give the president sweeping powers to kill, drone strike, assassinate, spy on, invade whoever they like? Do you understand why people are rightfully concerned about that? Because we already seen this shit show before. Yeah. When the United States creates wars on something, on some kind of abstract enemy that cannot be defeated and is, a huge waste of resources, but a lot of money for the private sector. and corporations. And, it's never ultimately defeated. Just like the war on drugs, the war on terror, same old, right? Just a cover used to advance corporate and imperialist agendas. So that's what they're referring to. And, she says here that, okay, Syria has been gripped by a proxy war and a civil conflict. I mean, listen, I'm glad that she's, inching a little towards the truth. It would be nice if she also recognized the United States' role in that conflict in funding all of these jihadist groups. I'd also appreciate her recognizing her buddy Erdogan, Turkey's role in also funding other jihadists. Turkey's currently occupying northern Syria, Idlib. This is like the last jihadist stronghold in Syria. What the fuck is Turkey doing in Syria? What is any other country doing in Syria? Go home. This is absurd. Nonetheless, right? We have to take the wins as they come. That's the saying they use. So it's great that she's sort of condemning it. Where are the consequences, though? Right? Because if you listen to Ilhan Omar and her fellow Democrats in the squad, and you listen to just the entire Democratic Party, really, during the last months, what have they been saying about Trump? Specifically the last months. What have they been saying? Although they've been saying this for the last years, but specifically, they've been saying the democratic institutions of the United States have come under attack, right? Literally. And that the Constitution must be protected and upheld. And, the Republic is imperiled. Oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God. They keep emphasizing the importance of upholding democratic institutions. Yes? Where is it? Where is it now that Biden has gone behind your back? You as a congressperson, especially as a congressperson, he's gone behind your back and attacked another country. How are you not outraged at this? You don't say a word? Not a word? How do you rationalize that? How do you explain that? I mean, either you're not doing your job or you're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. That's really what it comes down to. That's the only way at least I can explain this. Why AOC? Why Ayanna Pressley? Why Rashida Tlaib? Winik ya akhti. Where are you, sister? My Palestinian sister. Aren't you going to stand up for us in Syria? No? Okay. Aren't you going to stand up for your own constitution in the US? No? Okay. Weird. I really thought that the entire Democratic Party were so concerned with upholding their democracy. Apparently, though, when a Democrat president does it, when he goes behind their backs to attack another country, doesn't matter, right? Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, we'll just use the AUMF to justify whatever, man. Actually, we're not even going to talk about it. What's Syria? Never heard of it. They're just so good at their games, aren't they? They're just so good. But it's okay, guys. You know why? I've told you why. Now we have diversity, right? So honestly, I think this is photoshopped. I know it's been retweeted a bunch of times, but I've seen the original picture without this. I love the Boeing. You can't really see it, but if you see the Boeing has a rainbow in it, it's like barely visible. And there's a Black Lives Matter sticker on the payload. It's a decal rather, right? And I think that's a transgender flag too. And it speaks to the Rainbow Coalition death cult thing, right? I don't have the T-shirt on me right now, but you know the thing. Literally, you know the thing. That's what it is, right? They've put a bunch of women in charge of key positions now: vice presidency, director of national intelligence, head of the OMB, Neera Tanden, and deputy head of the OMB, Shalanda. They've put a bunch of women in place, and they've also put a black man in charge of the Pentagon to keep you quiet when they go and bomb other countries, right? And they've lifted the transgender ban as well. So I'm assuming that's the relation to the flag. So, you can have more women in key positions and people of color in key positions, and you can have more transgender people in the military now after they've lifted Trump's ban. But the policy is not changing, right? That's not diverse. That's consistent. So consistent, it doesn't even change from Trump. It's literally the same. Like, it doesn't even deviate one iota. It's like, we're going to keep sanctioning Syria using Trump's sanctions, the Caesar Act. We're going to keep stealing Syria's oil and building new bases. And we're going to keep on bombing Syria. No fucking difference. None. Wow. I'm really feeling the lesser of two evils right now. It's really like tingling in there, I love it. Especially as a Syrian, I'm really feeling it, right? I'm feeling the unity. I'm so united with you. It's really unbelievable. People keep sending me like pictures or tweets from liberals who are trying to justify the bombings. And you have this one over here saying bombing is generally bad, but bombing isn't always bad. Biden's strike wasn't bad bombing even slightly. What? No, it's actually very, very bad. Like, you know, there's something called the United Nations and the United Nations Charter, international law. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. Yeah, that's very bad. There's also something called your Constitution. Have you read it? I don't know. War Powers Act 73. No, you don't know any of this? It's very bad, actually. Also, what the fuck are you doing in Syria? Like, who appointed you to judge what is bad and not bad? Is it okay if Syria bombs you and then decides what is bad and not bad bombing inside of the United States? Who the fuck are you? I'm really curious. Are you Syrian? Like, what is your relationship to this issue exactly that you can decide it's bad bombing or good bombing? Do you know any of the victims? Do you know who died? Do you even know who Biden bombed? I'm certain you don't know who Biden bombed. You know why? Because the people that Joe Biden bombed in Syria, these so-called Iranian-backed militias, right? This, once again, the catchphrase. They love using that because they don't want to tell you that these Iranian-backed militias are the Hashd al-Sha'bi, the PMU, Popular Mobilization Units, right? So the Popular Mobilization Units are hated by ISIS. They've kicked ISIS ass. Okay, we say Daesh also. We don't like to call ISIS a state. They're not a state, are they? It's Daesh. So Joe Biden. No. Let's backtrack a bit to last year. Donald Trump assassinates General Qasem Soleimani, who's head of the Quds force, right? He also, in the same attack, assassinates Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis, which you probably not all heard a lot about, but is very important because they're working together all the time. And Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis, he's a senior commander in, guess what? The PMU, right? So Donald Trump goes and assassinates two of the main figures who have helped to crush ISIS in Iraq and in Syria, who've helped to liberate ISIS from this fucking cancer of ISIS, right? And you're celebrating another bombing now of the same people who helped to liberate Syria and Iraq from ISIS. You do know that like, I'm curious, what is, like, I'm fucking flabbergasted. It really beggars belief. Like, you just can't rationalize this kind of shit. They want to defend him so badly. They just want to defend Biden so fucking badly. They're ready to, like, even indirectly align themselves with fucking ISIS. It's incredible. It's truly incredible. So, by the way, here is Qasem Soleimani on the left, and that's Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis, right? So he's Iraqi, and Soleimani is Iranian. And Trump assassinated them both in Baghdad when they were on a diplomatic mission to meet with the Iraqi government. And he just illegally assassinated them, right? I mean, there were jihadists literally celebrating it. I'm not saying that figuratively. You can Google it. You will see they actually released statements celebrating Trump's assassination of them because the PMU have been so successful in kicking their asses, right? I mean, you can just look up. There are tons of articles about this. Specifically, look, this from Business Insider. Meet the Iraqi PMU, one of the greatest threats against ISIS. This is 2016. This is when they were taking back Mosul in Iraq. I mean, it just goes on. And to this day, they're still there. They're still resisting against not just ISIS, but of course, American occupation, right? One of their stated goals is to rid their land of American occupation, which is, again, legal under international law. This is your right. If someone invades your country, you can defend yourself against them. That's your right under international law. It's enshrined in international law. Every human being has that right. So, you know, when the United States talks about defending itself in Iraq, what the fuck does that mean? Is Iraq part of your territory? What do you, your colonizers? Yeah, okay, I guess then that makes sense. And of course, you know, secretly, that's exactly what they are. Well, you know, not even secretly, just openly say, yeah, we're not going anywhere. Because you remember, after Trump assassinated Qasem Soleimani and Abu Mahdi, the Iraqi parliament voted to kick out all foreign troops. They're like, we had enough of this shit. You know, it's been like, 17, 16 years now you've been in our country. Has Donald Trump gone anywhere? No. Joe Biden is president now. Is he leaving? No. And it's unbelievable how people try to, like, they don't even know what the fuck they're cheering on. They're so ignorant, right? They just hear the word Iran and it's like, oh, they associate it with evil. Yes, that means Biden did good. What the fuck are you smoking? What? No. How can you be so dumb? Shame on you. Shame on you, seriously? This really speaks to the power of propaganda, the power of brainwashing. It's fucking remarkable, right? And you can see here the defense secretary, remember, our new black man in the Pentagon, who also happens to be a former board member of Raytheon, the weapons manufacturer. Totally not a conflict of interest, I promise you, pinky promise. So here's what he had to say about the strike just after, right? I think it's important. This is the first military action by the Biden administration. So let's listen to the first statement about this first military action from none other than the defense secretary, Lloyd Austin. So hold on a second. I'm not sure you can hear the audio. Let's try that again. Give me 1 second. Excuse me.
There's not much more that I'll be able to add at this point, other than the fact that we're confident in the target that we went after. We know what we hit. And we're confident that that target was being used by the same Shia militia that conducted the strikes. And so you'll get more information in terms of the effects of the strike as time goes by. But I just wanted to make sure that, I gave you that viewpoint from me, that level of confidence that there is connectivity. And so we're very deliberate about our approach, as you would expect us to be. We allowed and encourage the Iraqis to investigate and develop intelligence, and that was very helpful to us in refining the target. And let me just finally say that I'm really proud of the men and women in our force who carried out the strike. As you would expect, they performed in a very professional manner, and we're grateful for their service.
Wow. Nice, right? I love hearing the same old propaganda just from a different face. It's beautiful. So you notice he starts out by saying, we're confident we hit. It's like gibberish at first. Yeah, the target that we striked, the strike was at that specific target, and it was, we can confirm that there was a strike. He sounds like fucking George Bush a little, right? So he's saying it's Shiite militias or Shia militias, right? Of course, again, it's either one of the two, Iranian-backed militias, Shia militias. No, it's not. Dude, the PMU, the Popular Mobilization Units, they're also called PMF, Popular Mobilization Forces. The Hashd al-Shabi. It's not Iranian troops. These are local people resisting occupation, right? They're not just Shia. They could be Sunni. They could be Christian or Druze. Like, this is just propaganda nonsense. Also, again, I ask you this question. Let's imagine, for argument's sake, that 110% of them were Shia. Does that mean you can go and kill them? What kind of a fucking argument is that? What are you doing in Syria, you motherfucker? Go and mind your fucking business. You live on the other side of the planet, you fuck. What are you doing in Iraq? What are you doing in Iran, you warmongering piece of shit? Fuck you. I don't care if you were bombing sheep. I don't care if there were 0 casualties. Take your bombs and go home. We're not having a fucking debate here. This isn't rocket science, no pun intended. I don't want to hear your bullshit propaganda, your lies and justifications and pretexts and excuses for bombing another country. What is wrong with you? Holy shit. I'm so glad that AOC rebuked this propaganda, right? I'm so glad that the squad, they're holding Biden accountable, just like I told you they would, right? There's such hacks, man. There's such hacks. Not a goddamn word. Not a goddamn word. Look, I don't see anything on her Twitter. I don't see anything. I see the checks, right? We're talking about the filibuster. There's Al Green, again, talking about the GOP. Okay. Is there anything about Syria here? I don't see anything. I don't see a word. I don't see anything. How is that normal? How is that your party leader, your president bombs another sovereign nation and you say nothing? Are we surprised? No. This shows I know you hate to hear this. I know it's hard to believe. You still want to give him chances. You still want to. She's a party hack. She is a party hack, AOC. I mean, once again, if there's a list of things where you would really put your party aside and, you know, stand firm and be like, no, I do not tolerate this. This is wrong. I'm pretty sure that committing an act of war, right, bombing another country is tantamount to a declaration of war. There are world wars that have been started over much less. Okay, right? This is a bombing with fucking jets, right? Dropping a payload, F-15s. And you say nothing? This shows she's willing to put her party, Joe Biden, Democratic leadership, first. She's saying, fuck the Constitution, fuck the people of Syria, fuck my constituents, fuck everyone who believed in me. No, Joe Biden comes first. I will not criticize him. I will not even mention that he bombed Syria. I mean, could there be any greater cowardice than this? What do you expect from someone who stumped for Joe Biden, who literally told you to go and vote for someone who started the Iraq War, which is a million trillion times worse, infinitely more worse? It's not even comparable to what just happened, right? Although you could reasonably make the argument that the entire situation in Syria is spillover from the war in Iraq. It is, right? It's all connected. What cowardice, really. And it's not just her, it's every single person, right? They were all ready to criticize Trump for the same thing. Great. Now they say nothing. Wow. Now the Constitution doesn't mean anything, right? All of a sudden. Now they don't mind the AUMF. These broad sweeping powers let the president just do whatever the fuck he wants. Whatever. International law? I have no clue what you're talking about. So again, I'll give Ilhan Omar some credit. Although I don't understand why you need to give people credit for doing their bare minimum. The bare minimum. She's not even saying let's impeach Biden or let's hold him accountable. She's just saying I'm against it. Hold on. You're the fucking lawmaker. It's your job to hold him accountable. What are you doing? I can also be against it, but I'm not a lawmaker. You are. You are the one who has to hold him accountable. That's your job. He literally went behind your back and bombed another country. Oh my God. And she talks about the AUMF. Okay, are there any plans to repeal the AUMF? Are you going to actually do something to get rid of it? Are you going to propose any legislation? No fucking way. Why would they ever do that? They're not going to touch that. That's their cash cow, literally, right? Makes money for wars. It's their legal justification, although it means jack shit. It's literally like, look at it. It's 2 pages long. It's 2 pages long, and they murdered millions of people from this fucking piece of toilet paper. Look how many, just think of how many lives have been destroyed in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Yemen, in Libya, in Syria. Oh my God, the list just goes on. I want to cry. I really do. With this piece of toilet paper. Look at it. Look how long it is. And of course, you have the follow-ups. But do you think they're going to repeal this? Of course not. Why would they do that? No. Now there's a blue man doing the bombing, not Orange Cheeto Man. So everything is fine. Go back to sleep. Shh.